Hello, cinema peeps!
Hello!
Hey Cinema Peeps, welcome back to another Talkie Tuesday.
Hey, Cinema Peeps! Hey, Cinema Peeps, welcome to another episode of Talkie Tuesday.
Look, I'm the guy from Pan's Labyrinth. I need more sleep.
That was an obscure reference, but great.
I've actually never seen Pan's Labyrinth, but I
Really?
know of the eye thing, yeah.
Oh, man, classic. That's a good one.
Yeah, it's spooky vibes, and I'm just like, see ya.
See ya.
Get Del Toro? Sorry, no thank you. No thank you.
Hey, cinema peeps. Happy Tuesday. It is.
Yes.
It is a day.
It is a day in the week that happens. Oh, do you have like tea?
Yes, with a little bit of Bailey's.
Oh, that's kind of
We-
tea.
We had no cream in the house, and this was the only kind of creamy liquid we had, so that's why I have a bit of Bailey's in my tea. But it's
Hey,
Tuesday, so I was
innovation.
like, hey, right?
Innovation. I just
But then-
got some new David's tea.
Oh, did you?
I
What
think-
kind?
I think it's some winter Earl Grey or some. I can't remember the name.
Winter Earl Grey. What does that consist of?
I don't know. It's like I thought it was like an Earl Grey, but like winter. I'll have to double check the name.
So is
I'm
there
not actually sure.
Mint in it, maybe?
Maybe. I just knew because normally I get like sleigh ride and stuff, but I still have some from last year, so I'm good.
Nice.
Which reminds me, I should have some.
Yeah, that's some good stuff. I got a
Very
jar of
delicious.
like mulling spices that you can use for like wine or apple cider. So I've been using it with some apple juice to make apple cider, and it's been delicious.
Damn. And then a bottle of Bailey's on the side.
A bottle of Bailey's on the side. Yeah. We also had whipped cream too, so I just basically like
Wow.
sprayed whipped cream into the cup and just mixed it in, and I was like, that works. But of course, every time we use the whipped cream can, Arnie can hear it. So he was downstairs and immediately came flying up the stairs because he heard the whipped cream. So I had to give him his puppuccino. So yeah.
As I say, does he like whipped cream or is
Oh,
it
yeah.
just the puppuccino?
Well, because the puppuccino, I think it's just whipped cream that they use at Starbucks, but like whatever whipped cream they use, I think has like a heavier consistency to it. I don't know if they're what they use with it, but yeah, we still just every so often as a special treat, we'll give him a little puppuccino, as we call it.
Damn.
Mm-hmm.
What a lucky boy. Okay, so you know Chippendales, right?
Yes.
So apparently, because I just went on to Disney Plus because I'm going to see how long Disenchanted was because I didn't get to watch it. And I, was sad and I watched the trailer again for some reason to make me happy. But it was, Disney Plus was promoting the Welcome to the Chippendales.
Oh.
It's a show and it's all about the crazy history of the Chippendales. And it's about this guy who starts the Chippendale brand. And there's like murder and espionage and like the FBI gets involved in shit. Right? And now I would have said that's bizarre. However, I'm pretty sure it was Amazon Prime, I could be wrong on that, did a series talking about, it was called The Murder of the Chippendales. So I do wonder if those are the same thing.
We're
Just
talking
one's
about
fiction.
We're talking about Chippendales the dancers, right? Not
Yeah.
Chippendales the chipmunks. Okay, I'm just making sure.
I killed Alvin. I can't make my voice go that high.
Yeah.
What is it? What does Craig play? Christmas.
Oh yeah, there you go. That's the one.
Everyone's just like,
And unsubscribe.
and unsubscribe. But yeah, so there's this weird uprise of the murders of the Chippendales that I have never heard of in my life.
Yeah, me neither. Wow, dang.
Right? So I might have to invest into both series to see what it is like.
Yeah.
Yeah, the Disney Plus one is fiction, obviously.
Mm-hmm.
Well, obviously fiction with, light, like
An
words.
adaptation.
Yes, thank you.
Yeah.
Words are so hard. But I guess it just started airing, so new episodes on Tuesday for that one.
Interesting.
And then, yeah, I'll have to double check. I think the other one's on Prime.
Wow.
Yeah, because I was like, oh, I think I might watch that, and then I just forgot about it, and then this appeared, and I was like, what the hell?
Wow, interesting, yeah.
What is happening with the Chippendales?
Yeah, no kidding.
Granted, I think this was like late 80s, early 90s.
Yeah,
so
yeah, makes sense.
It just might have been one of those things that we just missed it, and then they've just kind of rebranded, being like, don't look over there. Don't worry about it.
Pay no attention to the man behind the curtain.
Right?
Yeah.
That kind of vibe.
Yeah, it's funny.
That was my thought. But we did watch Spirited. Well, we watched it separately.
We did, yes.
we watched it. And, wow. I mean, that's the first word that comes to my mind is wow.
Is wow? Yeah.
It's wow.
It's wow.
It's wow. Yeah, we just want to dive right into it. And,
yeah, let's do it.
So, what was my thought? So, yeah, it's kind of loosely based on, or it's like a new adaptation of, like, The Christmas Carol.
Yes.
And, like, oh my God. I don't know what I was expecting when I watched this film, but it wasn't this, but, like, wow. Again, just wow.
Is it a good wow or a bad wow?
Oh, it's absolutely a good wow.
Okay, good. Okay.
I was just like...
Right? I know. I saw no trailers. I didn't want to know anything about it. All I knew was that it was Ryan Reynolds, Will Ferrell. Both of them were going to be singing and dancing, and antics would ensue. So I was like, I'm on board. Let's see what this is like. But yeah, no, it was really good. It was very entertaining. I felt like it brought a lot of good humor. I laughed a lot through it, and it had a lot of good, like, it brought me back to, like, classic kind of musical days of, like, the classic musical movies. And what was the other thing? Just like it was just like laced with Ryan Reynolds humor, which was like awesome. Because, you know, sometimes with him, like, no offense to Ryan Reynolds, but sometimes his movies can be a hit and miss sometimes, just depending. It might not necessarily be because of him. But I find that there's, at least in my opinion, there are some movies of his I'm just kind of like, been about. But this one, no, I like this one. It was really, really good.
I mean, maybe this is a bold claim, but I think this is now going to be part of my Christmas movies that I watch every year.
Yeah, right?
I was just, like, so genuinely blown away. I was just like, what? Like everything was just so thoughtful and, like, had a not had a purpose, but, like, I just, like, maybe it's just because I'm just wowed by the creativity of the story,
oh, yeah.
you know? And, like, the two characters. Like, I mean, I did call that, like, spoilers for anyone who hadn't seen the movie, but, like, I was like, I bet you anything. I was like, hey, if we have Bob Marley, I was like, we need to have Scrooge. No, what's his name? Bob Cratchit. No,
Jacob Marley.
Jesus, what are the fucking... See, this is why I need sleep. Sleep, like, need to function my brain.
Bob Marley.
Bob Marley was there, I'm pretty sure.
Oh yeah.
I'm positive
jamming,
he was there.
you know,
Yeah,
jamming,
just
man.
Chilling in the background. But yeah, so I figured Scrooge had to be there.
Yeah.
So I was kind of like, oh, I bet you it's Will Ferrell's character. So, like, there's a couple things where I'm like, oh, there's some things I saw coming, but there's a couple things, like, I didn't see coming. So I was like, so it was a nice blend of, like, you know, like, I could see where the story's going, but at the same time I was like, I was, like, thoughtfully surprised by some things.
Cool, nice.
I will say, like, kind of near the end, I was like, all right, let's wrap this up now.
Yeah. Well, there was a point where I was just kind of like, where is this going? Like, I was kind of lost a little.
Yeah. I think at some points it just kind of felt like it just didn't feel like it was going to end. And I was like, okay, don't, like, you guys have been doing so great. Just don't fuck the landing. Like, just please
right?
Don't
it was like,
fuck the
okay,
landing.
we're good. And then phew, and then okay, now we were good. And then whoo, like, it just kept going off in weird directions.
And then it was like, whoosh, and you're like,
yeah, you're like,
what the fuck?
Yeah.
It was very crazy.
Yeah, no, yeah, definitely.
But yeah, I'd say that was probably one of my few negative critiques was just like, yeah, by the end I was like, okay, are we we gonna? Because I even like again. Sorry for spoilers for everyone who hasn't seen the movie. I hope you have Apple Plus because I don't know if this will ever go on DVD. I doubt it because Apple's stupid. I hate them. I mean, love you, the best. But because like again, it's like Ted Lasso. It's like I want everyone to experience this.
Right? Yeah.
So it'd just be locked behind. Again, we've talked about 100 times.
And that is the thing. Kudos to Apple because everything so far that I have seen from Apple that's been produced through Apple has been good. So that I like, but yes, I agree with you. The fact that it's not accessible to everybody, or maybe not everybody wants to access it because they're not sure, like they don't want to commit to the the price of it and stuff like that. There's so many other streaming services out there. Yeah, that's the only thing that sucks is that like there's so much great content on there that should be seen by everybody, but not everybody gets the chance to see it.
Right. So I figured that Ryan Reynolds' character, I actually was like, I think he's going to become the Ghost of Christmas Past.
Oh, you called that?
I was like, I'm pretty sure. But like, again, because of the ending of being kind of like, is this ending? Right? Because there was the whole thing at the skater rink where he's like, where the assistant stops his niece from posting the video, and he's like, well, I haven't changed, so like I'm gonna go back to the office and do what I'm gonna do. So I wonder, like, is that the message that like, so I wasn't quite sure, but then like, there's this scene where he saves Will Ferrell because they're bros now, and they have the big song and dance, and the bus hits him, and then he dies, and I was like, what is that? So I mean, it did get to that conclusion, but I was just like, what?
Right? Yeah. I'm just curious, like, what did you interpret the message of being at the end?
Trying to remember. Right, because they do that beautiful song and dance. Right, because the movie felt like it was ending so many times. So at first I thought it was that maybe people don't change.
Yeah, I thought it was like, we gotta swallow the hard pill of reality that this is how it is.
Right? So I was like, this doesn't feel right. This feels weird. So then when they went to the song and dance about kind of like how, like big change doesn't happen overnight. It's kind of making like the little steps,
Yeah.
And that like, maybe you won't succeed all the time, but that's okay, kind of thing. And that and again, I think still like you can't force people to change, but that just taking little baby steps is okay.
Yeah.
And it's just about trying to be like a good person, not necessarily like a perfect person.
Yeah.
Which obviously I think worked really well with the again, sorry for anyone who hasn't seen the movie. Sorry, I should have done that. Spoiler alert now. Too bad. Having Will Ferrell's character be Scrooge / the Ghost of Christmas Present, and his like internal fear of like I was a horrible person and I changed, but like what if I am just this, what if it comes out again? Like what if I am just this mean person? And and by him thinking he could continuously help other people, that he could make the change and then it would be okay. When in reality that wasn't, like obviously it was good what he was doing, but that doesn't mean words. It doesn't define him, I guess.
Yeah.
And then he had to kind of go out and see for himself,
Yeah, exactly.
That kind of change. So that's kind of what I got. But again, like I said, because the movie, I felt like it was ending a couple times. I was like,
Yeah.
Okay.
Right? Yeah, no, I agree. I feel like I don't know. I know the obviously the main kind of idea of the story of A Christmas Carol is kind of like delving into Scrooge's past to kind of see like why he became a horrible person. And then finding that thing that's gonna like get him to like change his ways kind of thing. So I kind of liked how like they obviously kept that and modernized it a little bit. But yeah, like kind of like you were saying, where with Will Ferrell's character, I like that we kind of as confusing as it was sometimes, I like that they flipped the script around, and it wasn't just all about Ryan Reynolds and trying to change his character. He kind of flipped it around on Will Ferrell sometimes. It was like, but what about you? And like, so you kind of got to see like that you know, rooting for Ryan Reynolds to change and or his character to change, but then also kind of like being intrigued as to like, okay, so now that Will Ferrell's kind of got a second chance, you know, he went through that kind of process of becoming a better person, and obviously decided to commit to being part of the, you know, Ghost of Christmas Present thing. But now that he's got a second chance at life, is he able to upkeep that, you know, way of being, or does reality kind of set in, or is there a happy balance you can kind of like, you know, manage, right? Yeah.
And I also like that scene, again, maybe that is the right words, like
Modernized.
Thank you. Oh my god. The Christmas Carol, you know, they show Scrooge like, oh yeah, you missed out on your love and missed out on a family, which is very kind of not saying those values aren't important, but it's like kind of one mindset. And I feel like now in life, it's like that doesn't have to be your end goal.
Yeah.
So it was funny when he was like, oh, look, she has a happy family. And Ron's like, well, I'm happy for her, but this isn't what I want.
Yeah, exactly.
And being like, you know, like, yeah, you want me to be good, but you're forcing this narrative that you want. Like, this is what you want.
Yeah, I like that.
So it's interesting in the end when he becomes the Ghost Christmas Present, I got the vibe that he was changing the thing around. It's like, we can still do this, but, you know, be more curated and, you know, actually tug at people's true heartstrings. Yeah. You know, not of what they truly want.
Yeah, not conform everybody into one system kind of thing. Yeah.
And again, that's fine if that's what you want, but obviously he was, as we slowly learn throughout the movie, Will's character was kind of blinded to the fact that he felt like he needed to make a really big change. You know, he wanted to make a big ripple in the pond as this cut song, you know, went. Which also I have to say that was so funny. It's like, I'm gonna sing about it. If you do this, don't sing. Oh, that was easy. Okay, spotlight. Goodbye.
Bye. Yeah.
That was fucking great.
That was awesome.
But right, he was kind of clouded by this idea that he was like, well, if I can change, maybe the same thing I can do the same thing to another person. In a way he did, but I think as he kind of realized like the midpoint of the movie is that he had to relate to him, not be like, yeah, because this worked for me, it's gonna work for you to be a good person.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
So I guess in a way it still kept with the theme that people can and cannot change in a way. You know, like they can change, but you know, it is still up to them to make those choices, but that what you think the change they need might not be necessarily, you know what I mean?
Exactly. Yeah, no, you nailed it right there. I think with the way the world has been going lately, I think that was the exact message that needed to be spread around this time of year. And, like, very deep. The movie got very deep now that we're like,
it was
kinda,
weird.
like,
I was like,
unfolding
what is happening?
Right? But no, it's exactly, I think now that we've kind of like hashed it out, I think that's the message, is it's like we've all been yelling at each other to change. We all want everybody to be good, kind people, but it's a process. It's not a thing that happens overnight.
Yeah.
Practice a little patience and kindness with one another as we go through the process, and just realize that, you know, some people might get it right away and some people might not, but you know, give that person the room to be able to explore it themselves. Don't try to conform them into the way it worked for you, kind of thing.
Yeah, because as he slowly began to relate more to Ryan Reynolds' character, that's when they bonded.
Yeah.
And they both appreciated each other and became bros.
Right? And I loved that number that they did with the good afternoon. That was awesome.
That was like a little too over the top for me, but at the same time I was just like, yeah, it's good times.
Right? I liked it because it reminded me, that was especially the one that reminded me of like old school musical type stuff, so.
Although I did enjoy how Judi Dench was just there, like, oh my god, is that Judi Dench?
Yeah, right?
Just like randomly, oh hey, that's Judi Dench.
Yeah.
Like the humor in this was like very good.
Yeah.
I mean, I was fucking, when they had the Karen in the first, like, as they kind of showed the example kind of like a usual Christmas haunt for them. God, that was so funny.
That was good, yeah.
She goes, I'll change my ways, even though that treehouse is not regulation.
Yeah.
And then when the ball is kicked towards, and the parents were like, we don't want any trouble. We don't want you to call the cops.
Yeah.
She's like, what day is it? It's Christmas. Do you want to play?
Yeah, that was good.
And then Ryan Reynolds sleeps with the ghost of Christmas Past.
Past, yeah.
Wow, yeah, can you do the rest of the night for me? And he's like, what? What the hell?
He's like, can you just do me one favor? Can you tell me what his hair smells like?
Yeah. I'm not doing that. Hi, this is HR, and it's HR approved.
It's HR approved, yeah. He's like, cotton candy.
Oh, yes. Like, the humor in it was so good.
Mm-hmm.
And, like, the music was really... Like, I definitely, like, even though I was laying on the couch, my foot was just bopping.
Nice.
My foot was just... You know when it's just good that your foot's just bobbing with it? You know?
Yeah,
It's
yeah,
just
right?
Like, ugh. Oh, but I especially... Oh, my God. The scene where he's like, I have to, like, try, and all, like, the interns have, like, the flashlight hands.
Oh, right.
I was just like, oh, my God. It's so simple. It's so beautiful.
Right?
I was like, oh, yes.
I was like, I want to do that.
Right? I was just like, oh my God, this is so good.
Yeah, that was really good. I also liked the nod to Elf at the party.
Yeah.
When he bumps into...
You look
he's like,
stupid.
You look stupid, yeah. That was
I was
great.
like, damn, well. Oh, man. Yeah, I don't know. I liked all the music. I thought the music was really good. I think Good Afternoon was the only one I was like, I don't jive with this one, but that's
Okay,
fine.
yeah.
I was like, like it's funny, but at the same time where it's like, good afternoon. I was like, all right, we get it.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. Joke's
Yeah.
over now.
Yeah.
Although I did enjoy the guy who got caught on fire. So.
Yeah.
And then he's dancing at the end scene. I mean that too, like their end scene where they just like go into another song.
Mm-hmm.
You know. But then they also did the oh my God, too many thoughts. So they do like the ending song, and then the camera like slowly pans to like all the crew, and then like the Steadicam guy.
I love
like,
that
aw.
part.
I mean, maybe that's just because we're nerds. We're like,
Right.
film! I don't think
know.
anyone else would care as deeply, but, you know.
Yeah.
I thought it was a cute moment. I was like,
I liked
aw.
it too. Yeah, I love that. I thought that was really cool. And I'm just like, oh, it shows how much fun everybody was having. Like, they just a nod to everyone. Like, let's show
Right.
everybody there. Yeah.
Oh, last thing. Ted Lasso's wife is in this.
Yeah, I noticed that too.
That was wild. I just like kept staring at her, and I was like, I feel like I know you.
I know, right? I'm like, she looks so familiar. Where is she from?
Even with red hair, I was like, I know who you are.
Yeah.
I have a feeling about you.
Mm-hmm.
But otherwise, yeah, like I said at the beginning, the movie was just wow. Like, genuine wow.
Yep.
Like I said, I'm watching it every Christmas now.
Oh, yeah.
It is a baller.
It's entertaining all the way through. And, like, yeah, I don't know. I feel like we need more comedy movies. There hasn't been enough. And if they have been, they just haven't. They've kind of fell short. So Ryan Reynolds, he does do comedy very well. Like, Free Guy was really good. This was really good. The more outrageous, the better, I find, with him. Because it's just, I don't know. It's just, it works. But, yeah, definitely. It's going to be
Right.
added to the list of Christmas movies. Actually, it made me want to watch Elf again, which is, it's so funny because like usually that movie's on all the time, right? So you usually keep it on in the background, but I actually wanted to sit down and like watch it like beginning to end after seeing this. I was like, man, I love those movies. They're so good.
Did you watch the Movies That Made Us where they talked about Elf?
I don't think I did, actually.
That one's actually pretty cool.
I'll have to check it out.
I meant to watch more of them, but I'm not a fan of like the style it's in.
Oh, yeah.
Like they have like this weird kind of narration part that I just don't care for, and I'm just like,
Oh.
please stop.
Yeah.
Like I just want to hear the stories from the people,
Yeah.
you know, and how they talked about how Elf was like considered like they're like, oh, it's gonna flop, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Especially just because they're like, who's this? Like, it's hard to imagine that it's like, oh yeah, of course, like, Will, popular guy, like, why wouldn't you put him in a movie? But at that time, it was like, why would you have him be the leading man in this like weird, like no one got the concept, you know?
Mm-hmm.
But sorry, what made me think of it was just the beginning scene with like the claymation.
Oh, yeah.
That was done in a day.
That's insane.
Like they or they did like a little, I think they did a prep of it in a day, and then they finished the rest of it in a week.
Wow, that's crazy.
It's mind-boggling,
right?
You know, and it. Sorry, that's what made me think of it. But
nice. I'm gonna have to check that out.
Watch it.
I definitely
it's very
will.
cool. There's also just a lot of, like I said, cool stories to hear. Again, like the idea. It's so funny, like when they're talking about it, and they're like, "Oh yeah, I wasn't gonna like lift off the ground," and now it's like, wow, how wrong everybody was.
Yep.
So just like this movie, maybe you're wrong. Maybe it's gonna be great, and you should just watch it.
Right? But I mean, like going back to Spirited, I really liked. I mean, I was impressed and very excited to hear Ryan Reynolds sing. That was pretty cool. I thought they did pretty decent. The one though that I'll make, and maybe I just wasn't really like, maybe I have to go back and watch it again. But like, I thought like just the way they kind of portrayed his character at the beginning of the movie made him seem like really, really cruel. But I felt like he didn't keep that same air about him throughout the rest of the film. So I don't know if that, like, if I'm just kind of like overanalyzing it, and they did that way. They wanted to keep more of the humor and stuff like that, but like, because they showed him as like a real dick at the beginning, right? With like his performance, and then the things he was telling his niece to do and all that kind of stuff, and then throughout the rest of it, it was kind of like that was just thrown to the wind, and he didn't quite. I was waiting to see if he was gonna have like a couple of moments where he'd like turn on Will Ferrell or like do something dickish to kind of like just destroy everything that's been happening so far, but it didn't seem to happen that way. And so I don't know if they that wasn't the intention, or if like I'm overthinking it, but yeah.
I didn't turn my light on. That's fine. I guess I don't know. I kind of saw it as like, because then you're treading a very fine line. If you make him too cruel, then he's not super. Then it's like, why are we putting so much time and effort into this character?
Yeah, fair enough.
I think it, and maybe it's also like, again, because we were seeing it from like Will Ferrell. Like, if you think about it, right, he's doing this whole musical number, but obviously that's not what's happening. So I wonder if part of that is just, again, Will Ferrell's character seeing him like that and being like, this is the one. This is the ripple effect. When really, I just kind of got the vibe that he was just a guy who was just slightly jaded. And he was like, why don't people, like, especially the scene where they're like, and I mean, he did say those very cruel things to his boss, but then, you know, he goes, hey, Octavia Spencer, come with me. We're going to change the world, kind of thing, and help you go up the corporate ladder, you know. Yeah. And he goes, see, they don't remember the good things you do. And it's like, yeah, okay. I think he was a good balance of like, you know, of just being like jaded, but he did obviously have good in him. It just,
okay, yeah.
I think it's just more, especially that poor scene where his mom gives him the doggy bowl and goes, you didn't leave the door open. And when he was like, see, she taught me a valuable lesson that you can't let people want to think this way, and da-da-da-da. So I think he was just also like an overcompensator, being like, well, yeah, of course, like my mom, like this happened to me, so like,
yeah,
I need to keep this mindset and not do what is expected of me. So
yeah, okay.
I think that's probably what it all plays into.
That makes sense. Yeah, okay.
That's my guess anyway.
Yeah, no, that makes sense. That makes sense. I like that.
But I think that'll do it for today's episode. Oh my god, every time.
On that yawn, yes.
Every time.
That is our cue.
Every gosh darn time. I realized because I just edited the podcast, we didn't do any recommendations from last week.
Oh, we didn't? Oh, dang.
No. Oops. That's okay.
I feel like because most of the stuff that we've been watching recently has been stuff that we've talked about in depth on the podcast, so there hasn't been like anything to recommend other than what we just watched, right?
Right. So my recommendation: watch Spirited.
Yeah. If you can. And then the movies that made us Elf thing.
Yeah, you can definitely check it out. Like I said, I just don't like the commentary on it.
Okay.
Like the weird voiceover guy. It's just not my fan. And some of the edits were weird. Again, maybe I'm just being a grumpy person. I was just like, I hate this. But I loved hearing the stories, though. That was fun.
Nice. Yeah, that would probably be my recommendation too, is watching Spirited. If you have Apple TV, if you've been on the fence about getting Apple TV, this is your sign to go and get it, because you've got Ted Lasso and you've got Spirited on there, and there's a few other good things to check out. Coda. Yeah. Oh, Jinx. Coda's on there. Yep.
If you're like me, I'm getting an ad saying, because I have a PlayStation, I don't know why, I get 3 free months of Apple Plus. So
Wow.
if you're also like, I don't want to do, like, try to find a deal where you can get it for free and then just binge everything and then cancel, nobody will blame you. That's a great strategy.
There you go. But
yeah, thank you for watching this episode. I'm sorry I'm so yawny and my brain can't function. Barely
It's one of
functions
those
on the
days.
best of days. Right? But yeah, if you're here, maybe give this video a little likesy. Maybe. Leave a comment down below. Have you watched Spirited, or is there any other movies you think we should check out?
Mm-hmm.
And please subscribe.
Yes.
We gotta get to that 69.
69.
69. It's our Christmas wish.
That's our Christmas wish, yeah.
Thanks, Santa.
And if you enjoyed this episode, go and check out some of our other episodes that we've done on the podcast. We talk about all kinds of things, books, movies, TV shows, games, you name it. We got lots of fun stuff on there. So go check that out too. And give them a like as well.
Absolutely.
We appreciate it.
Yeah. Until next time, watch all the content. We'll see you next time. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Monkey.